What is up, everybody, and hearty, and welcome back to Cipher Secret. And today we will be reading Chapter 30, Royal Disasters, Part 1. The arc is Forgotten Princess, a new arc. This is a short chapter, so this episode won't be very long, but do expect a surprise coming here soon. Father. Such a simple word was enough to make the apprentice's breaths hitch, especially Dipper's. Why was he surprised, though? He had once told himself that Bill was related to the devil in some way. He wouldn't be surprised. Why was he, then? Lucifer was his mentor's father and was standing right in front of him. To say bluntly, Lucifer was a thing, not even close to a human. It had a human shape, but it wasn't human. Dipper knew how humans acted, how he felt around them, and he definitely didn't feel the same near Lucifer. Dipper gulped. He wasn't a human himself, after all. He was just some demon hybrid. Oh, how he wished he hadn't found that out. Oh, I see, Lucifer replied. My dear daughter Beatriceline, you've grown since the last time I saw you. Beatrice visibly shivered at the mention of her true name. Bill and Kinessie rolled their eyes at that. Lucifer directed his gaze to them. Billis, Bartholomewless, it seems like you have also changed since the last time I've seen you. You look more grown up. Billis, though I doubt you have mentally changed. Bill crossed his arms and puffed his cheeks. Everybody raised an eyebrow. Who was Bartholomewless? Lucifer, Kinessie warned. If you're trying to pull another mind game on us, I swear Bartholomewless, Lucifer interrupted with such a serious tone that it sent shivers down the apprentice's spines. I suppose you don't remember what happened last time you stepped onto this room. I also suppose you wouldn't want to, but my memory rarely ever fails me. Kinessie was taken aback by this, but didn't back off. Instead, he hit his foot on the floor, and a pink shield rose around him in a circular shape, surrounding all the mentors and apprentices. There were small squares encrusted around the shield as decoration. Dana was the first to react, and without any warning, punched the shield. Dude, that's real strong. Oh, I think I broke my hand, by the way, she said simply. Daniel sighed and pinched the bridge of his nose. Beatriceline, Lucifer uttered, and Beatrice's hands turned into fists as she controlled her wish to punch the demon lord in the face, if there was one. I can feel your anger from here, even with your brother's shield to protect you and mask your true sentiments. Do you resent me? Azap blinked and turned to face the twins' mentor. It was downright obvious she was keeping her anger and resentment for Lucifer to herself. That doesn't sound healthy, he thought. And what is that shield? Lucifer said it could mask emotions. What Lucifer didn't tell him was that he could also read minds like the mentors. Perhaps that was a little too obvious and intrusive. Exactly, little hybrid Azap Horth. Azap tensed upon hearing his full name being said, by a demon lord, no less. Kinessie also seemed to tense up. His apprentice took a step forward, almost touching the barrier that separated them from Lucifer, but the gravity around him vanished as he slowly floated away from the floor. Kinessie's eyes were shining in a radiating pink aura, and so was Azap's body. His mentor had just used telekinesis. Oh, my dear son, I wouldn't dare harm your little meat sack. I have no use for him anyway. I don't trust you, Kinessie snarled. Nobody had ever seemed to lose his patience that easily, which made all of the apprentices realize they were messing with serious business. Enough! Dana shouted. She directed her attention to Lucifer. Okay, I don't understand shit. First, we were going nicely, then you guys started arguing with the devil, and then, I don't even know what I was saying anymore. Carry on. She waved her hand dismissively and sat on the floor, crossing her arms and leaning against the barrier. Bill just rolled his eyes with a serious glare that Dipper never thought he'd see. He was sure of one thing. However, Serious Bill gave him more chills than Crazy Bill would do. Mentor Kinessie, I'd like to say that I really enjoy gravity doing its job and keep me from floating to outer space and dying from the lack of oxygen and supplies. Gravity is not doing its job right now, Azap deadpanned, still levitating thanks to Kinessie's telekinesis. The mentor understood the sarcasm and slowly lowered Azap down until he safely reached the floor. Dipper blinked and resisted the urge to pinch himself and check if he was still dreaming, and that the cause of all that was the pizza he had eaten before he went to sleep. Thank you. His mentor, however, just sighed. I think an explanation is in order. Mabel stared at the prism in her hands, unsure of what to do. Kenny and Greta were by her side as they stared in awe at the hole in the tree that she had just caused, smoke still present and invading the air with its unpleasable scent. It had all started with a stroll near the forest when Mabel got a little too excited about a story that talked about her 10th birthday, and upon jumping to cheer about something that involved a prank, lots of glitter and a spicy cake, an explosion happened nearby, exactly the minute she raised her hands in the air. One of the trees had just suffered a spontaneous combustion, or perhaps it wasn't spontaneous at all. Mabel didn't want to believe she did that. She loved trees. She would never hurt them. Well, maybe that time where she accidentally put 4 of them on fire because of a talking fish and 4 angry bar fairies. Long story. So, in shock, she dropped the prism on the floor, and Gompers, the goat, who just happened to be there, began chewing on the chain. "Who votes blaming the goat?" she asked with a bright smile plastered on her face, upon getting over the fact that she just exploded a tree. Still in shock, Candy and Grenda raised their hands. "All right," Beatrice sighed. "We're Lucifer's relatives." She refused to call herself its child. "And although it is immortal, it needs descendants, so it created us with a piece of its soul. Obviously, it was going to create only one spawn, the typically perfect one. But the thing backfired because Lucifer is an idiot and doesn't know how to do things right, and created 3, not 1. So each of us has a quality that it was going to put on its so-called, perfect spawn." Kinessi nodded. Lucifer said nothing. It didn't interfere. It just listened quietly with a barely noticeable smirk on its face. "For an example, I was born with omniscience," he said. "That explains a lot," the apprentices thought. "I was born with omnipresence," Bill followed. Perhaps that was the most obvious explanation of why he knew lots of things. "And I was born with omnipotence." Beatrice finished the chain. "However, our powers were only truly valid within the nightmare realm, so we knew very little about the outside world. Kinessi knew many things, but not all of them. Bill could see lots of things, and at the same time, but not all of them. I could do lots of things, but not all of them. We grew up within these walls, training until we were strong enough to be able to battle along our race." She sighed and leaned against the barrier that Kinessi had created. Dipper didn't know what to say. He'd heard so much about princes and curses and everything else, it was giving him a headache. But that also made him eager to listen even more. Dana and Daniel were outright confused and had many questions, but decided to keep them to themselves. Azef couldn't help it. "What do you mean, battle along our race?" He raised an eyebrow. "Do you mean war?" Beatrice smirked at him. "Yes," she said. "I can't tell when exactly, but a long time ago, a war started. And if you want to know why, ask the devil." She pointed to Lucifer, and again, Azef couldn't help it. The feeling of asking the devil about how a war in hell started is thrilling, to say it least, thought Azef. He bit his lip. He knew he couldn't trust the devil, and that it was deceiving. Lucifer, Beatrice, Kinessi, Bill, all of them. None of them. Could he rely on them? Could he trust them? Should he trust them? So he only uttered one word. "Why?" "Power," Lucifer said simply. "The demons from my god wanted to take over and rule the nightmare realm. Hell soon broke loose, and we got divided into 2. You were either with me or against me. Most of the nightmare realm was against me, and that was their main mistake. When you're against me in a war..." Lucifer extended its hand and used telekinesis to levitate a handmade-looking jar from its position to before the mentors and apprentices, and ending the jar completely with a powerful black beam coming from his hand. The rest of the beam collided with Kinessi's shield and exploded, sending black and white sparks to all directions and creating a cloud of smoke that filled the air. "You're dead." "Thanks for the reminder that I'm in front of the devil. Goodbye, people." Dana deadpanned and was about to snap her fingers to teleport, but a blue aurora surrounded her as she was lifted from the ground. "Hey!" she yelped. "You're staying here, kiddo. I won't be responsible for any deaths today," Bill said as his eyes glowed in a bright blue color. "What's with all the overprotectiveness? God damn it," Dana thought as she rolled her eyes before Bill's eyes returned to their normal color, which was yellow, and she fell face first to the floor. Dana never stood up. "At least she's unconscious," Bill commented while shrugging. "Or dead," Beatrice deadpanned. "We should not avoid the subject now," Lucifer interrupted, seemingly clearing its throat. "When the war was over, half the population was dead and 1/4 was exiled. I did my best to fix everything and prove that I was the supreme leader and no one else, to stop another revolution and prevent more deaths from happening. However, the more my spawns grew, the more rebellious they would become." It glared at Beatrice. That was when hell broke loose. Rebellious? Rebellious? Stop trying to victimize yourself! She screamed in fury, with her color changing from baby blue to a very dark orange. It was just like Bill, when he got angry. He switched from yellow to red, but apparently her fit was twice as worse, with Beatrice's voice booming through the halls and inside the barrier, making the apprentices flinch. Kennesi and Bill winced slightly. I was born first, and always did everything better than my brothers. I tried to be the perfect, more than them, more than you ever were, and yet, just because I'm a female, I can't take the fucking throne? Are you fucking kidding me? Every word that Beatrice said gave Dipper more reasons to dislike Lucifer. The words didn't seem to be lies. Beatrice told the inevitable truth. That's why she had such a strong hatred towards it. Dipper bit his lip and tried to avoid the glare Lucifer was giving to Beatrice, which counterattacked with the same glare at all costs, so he looked around. Then he noticed something. The barrier cracked. She did this? He thought, panicked. That barrier was the only thing that could most likely protect them from Lucifer's wrath, and now it was breaking. But what Dipper didn't know was Beatrice's voice was never going to be enough to break a shield as strong as Kennesi's. No, it wasn't Beatrice who broke the shield. Magical demon shields are affected by their creator's thoughts and feelings, with the effort that supports them and keeping them from breaking apart being their mental stabilities, which means, as I've narrated in his mind, remembering the phrase coming from his myth books and analyzing the cracks better. They were pretty violent. One touch could easily break the whole shield apart. Azaf narrowed his eyes and tried to remember the rest of the phrase. Which means that if a demon is mentally perturbed or unstable, their shield could tear down or have violent cracks, according to how violently their creator's reactions and emotions have affected them mentally. Azaf finished the thought, then it hit him. The shield didn't break because Beatrice broke it. The shield broke because Kennesi broke.